Good morning, girls. Today we will discuss about cell. So far we have studied about cell in class 8, right? So we know that cell is called basic, fundamental, structural and functional unit of life. So why cell is called basic or fundamental unit of life? Because we know that each and every living organism on the earth is made up of cell. Why it is called functional unit of life? It is called functional unit of life because it is observed in studies that cell can perform all the life processes like respiration, digestion, etc. And it can survive alone. Like in unicellular organisms, we have studied about unicellular organism as well as multicellular organism, right? So let's discuss something more about cell. When cell was discovered, two scientists named Skeldon and Swan proposed cell theory. And this cell theory says that all organisms are composed of one or more cells. The cell is the basic living unit providing organization for all living organisms. And the third point for cell theory is all cells arise from pre-existing cell. Here pre-existing cell means the mature cell. When a cell gets mature, it divides and forms two different daughter cells. So the third point is talking about cell division. Now we know that cells are very small, right? So we cannot see cell through our naked eyes. So microscopes are used. A light microscope uses visible light that passes through glass lenses. So a thin section of specimen is required. Now these are the images of different cells that can be seen through light microscope. Now this is a diagrammatic representation of cell, parts of cell as well as some of the cell organelles. So we will discuss about some of the important parts as well as cell organelles. Now the first most important part of cell is cell membrane. As we can see in this diagram, cell membrane is double layered membrane. Cell membrane is semi-permeable. Here semi-permeable means the cell membrane can allow specific substances to pass through it. Okay, so cell membrane is double layered membrane as well as semi-permeable membrane. Inside this cell membrane, there is a jelly-like substance, and this jelly-like substance forms the matrix of the cell. Now this is known as cytoplasm. It provides site for many biochemical reactions. Cell organelle float in this matrix. So this was all about cytoplasm. Now the third most important part is nucleus. As we can see in this diagram, that nucleus is surrounded by a double layer membrane which has pores. So this double layer membrane is known as nuclear membrane, and the pores between these nuclear membrane is known as nuclear pore. Inside this nucleus there is a matrix, jelly-like matrix like cytoplasm, and this matrix is known as nucleoplasm. Now in this nucleoplasm there we can see fiber-like entangled structures, and these fiber-like entangled structures are known as chromatin fibers. These chromatin fibers contain genes. Genes means all the hereditary information that are passed from parents to their offsprings. So these chromatin fiber help in the passage of all the information from parent to offsprings. Now apart from this, there is a spherical dense structure in this nucleus, and that spherical structure is known as nucleolus. So this is all about nucleus. So let's revise it. Nuclear membrane is double layered, pores are present, and those pores are known as nuclear pore. Other important parts of the nucleus is nucleoplasm, nucleolus, as well as chromatin fibers. Now, let's come to the other cell organelles. The first one is mitochondria. Now, this mitochondria is known as powerhouse of the cell. So, why mitochondria is known as powerhouse of the cell? Because it stores energy in the form of ATP. Mitochondria is also covered with double layered membrane. So, we can easily see there are finger-like structure inside this mitochondria, and these finger-like structures are known as cristae, and inside this there is a jelly-like substance and it is known as matrix. So there is inner membrane as well as outer membrane. Next important cell organelle is endoplasmic reticulum. So this endoplasmic reticulum acts as endoskeleton of the cell. There are two types of endoplasmic reticulum: smooth endoplasmic reticulum and rough endoplasmic reticulum. Now, when we talk about smooth endoplasmic reticulum, we can easily see in this diagram, smooth endoplasmic reticulum has smooth surface. There are no granular structure present on the smooth endoplasmic reticulum. And the function of smooth endoplasmic reticulum is fat synthesis. Okay? Now, the rough endoplasmic reticulum, we can easily see that there are some granular structure present on the surface of rough endoplasmic reticulum, and these granular structures are known as ribosomes. So we will study that. The ribosomes synthesize protein. Ribosomes help in the synthesis of protein. So when ribosomes are present on the surface of this endoplasmic reticulum, it will help in the process of protein synthesis. So the function of rough endoplasmic reticulum is protein synthesis. Our next cell organelle is ribosome. As we have already discussed that these are present on the surface of endoplasmic reticulum, these ribosomes are also present freely in the cytoplasm, in the mitochondria, as well as in the chloroplast. So the function of ribosome is protein synthesis. Our next important cell organelle is vacuoles. Now vacuoles are a bag-like structure, a sac-like structure that are present in the cytoplasm, and the size of vacuoles depend upon the function of the cell or the site of the cell. So vacuoles may be present, the size of vacuoles may be very small or may be very large depending upon the function of the cell. Like in animal cell vacuoles, the size of vacuoles are very small or even they are not present in many cells. But in plant cell, the size of vacuoles are larger. So the function of vacuole is waste and water storage. So it stores waste as well as extra water. Okay, so it means it acts as the dustbin for the cell. Okay, now our next cell organelle is lysosome. Lysosome are also sac-like structure, but there are some hydrolytic enzymes present in these lysosome, and these hydrolytic enzymes help in the digestion of the cell as well as cell organelle. So this organelle is involved in waste removal as well as cell digestion. Lysosomes are also known as suicidal bags. Our next cell organelle is plastids. Now we have studied about the difference between plant cell and animal cell, right? So plastids make a difference. This is the main cell organelle that differentiate between plant cell and animal cell. So plastids, these are of three types: chloroplast, chromoplast, and leucoplast. In chloroplast, it contains chlorophyll. These are green pigments that absorb sunlight in photosynthesis. Okay, now it produces glucose and stores glucose. Our next plastid is chromoplast. It contains carotenoid that is red in color, orange and yellow pigments. Now, these are found in flowers and fruits. Leucoplast, it contains no pigment, but it used to store starch. That means it stores starch. So, thus, for now, this was all about the cell organelles and the cell. We will study further in detail about the functions, structures of all the cell organelles. Okay, so if you have any query, you can contact me. You can ping me in the WhatsApp group. And for now, have a nice day. Thank you.